Hey everybody, Ryan at Mission 501. And the question I have for you is, how are you training your teams from the minute that they walk in the door to work for you? Are you just giving them the basic training, or are you providing ways that they can grow professionally and personally so that they will always feel motivated and driven to keep improving? Today we're going to talk about a best practice for splitting training into different domains so that your staff feel like they always have room to grow and always have things that they can learn to continue moving forward. So the first domain that we're going to talk about today is what I call the onboarding domain and could also be called the mandated training domain. These are the trainings that are full of all of the logistics your staff need to get started at their jobs. This is everything from policies and procedures that are in your company handbook to the way that teams are structured and who they'll be reporting to, and also includes what would be required by perhaps state or local governments in terms of the training for a lot of these nonprofit roles, such as your CPR and first aid training, restraint training, dysphagia training, things that you absolutely need to have under your belt to even step into the field. Now, it's important to note that these trainings really don't motivate your staff to go further or to provide additional learning for themselves. They're mandated trainings, right? A lot of times they're boring trainings that are repetitive, that need to be done every year, every 2 years. And over time, they actually get quite redundant and can actually serve as demotivating trainings if not handled properly. But nonetheless, they do need to be done, and they're equally as important as all the other trainings. The second domain is your introductory or your core trainings. Now we're getting into the meat of the best practices that your organization provides for the services that it carries out. How are your staff knowing which way is the right way to do things? Who are they learning it from? And what are the most important core practices to learn? So to use one example, in the supported employment arena, we would be looking at job coaching, job development, and career discovery components of the job as those core trainings that everyone needs to know. These are the very basic fundamentals of the job. Now, it's important to note that not all of your staff are going to be walking in with no experience. Some staff may be coming to you with some experience in the area already. It's still important to go over these core trainings as a refresher for them because they still might pick up on ways that you do things that they may not be aware of and perform differently at other organizations. The third domain is what we call the advanced training domain. This still involves the same best practices that we talked about in the core domain. So to continue with our supported employment example, our career discovery, job coaching, and job development practices and everything that's related to them. But the difference between the introductory and the advanced section is that the advanced trainings are going to be more catered to people that are more tenured in your agency with more advanced practices that they can learn to perform their jobs at an even higher level. It's also a great idea to have your senior staff or staff who are really skilled in any particular component of your trainings come on in and provide that training. It's a growth opportunity for them as a leadership role and will motivate them greatly. And it will also provide some motivation for the staff that are being trained because not only are they learning from a peer, but they're seeing that there's an opportunity for them, if they learn and grow with the company, that they could be in that seat as well, facilitating those advanced trainings. The fourth domain, and the most important one for motivating your staff, is the customized training domain. And this is where, as leadership, you need to know every one of your staff and what drives them and where their skills are and where their opportunities lie, not only for improvement, but for continued development. When we talk about customized training, we're talking about conferences, external trainings, and learning skills that don't necessarily have to do with those best practices. So for example, perhaps there's a leadership training on coordinating special projects that one of your staff would like to attend. That doesn't have to do with job coaching or career development as it pertains to our supported employment example, but it still keeps them engaged because it's learning that they want to do for a job in your organization that might not be open now, such as a supervisor or a manager, that they may want to attain someday. Where a lot of organizations make mistakes in this area is they focus too much on the core practice and the mandated training and don't go further into advanced practice training and don't even touch the customized training component. And when this happens, your staff feel like they get this initial training walking in the door, and then they'll get their fundamental training learning how to do the job, and then it kind of feels like they're on their own. And what I hear from most staff who go through this is that they then feel like they're not getting the attention that they need. They feel like no one is focusing on their passions and their dreams for future development and future positions that they may want. And as I mentioned with the mandated trainings, eventually these core practices fall into that category of feeling redundant and repetitive. And that's when we start to talk about burnout. Staff will start feeling burned out if they're not learning new things and not feeling like they're growing. A lot of things can contribute to burnout. Bad training and a lack of training and development is a major contributor. So, as leaders, what can you do right now? One thing you can do is take inventory of all the trainings that you provide and categorize them. Is this a mandated training? Is this an introductory practice, an advanced practice training? Or does this fall under the customized role? Once you've defined that, you can take a look at where things lay and see perhaps you don't have anything in the customized training realm. Perhaps you don't have enough advanced training. Perhaps everything is in your mandated training and you're lacking even the basic trainings to provide people the skills that they need to perform in the field. Once you have this information, you can do many different things, including looking at ways that you can create that training. And that's a great example of a time when a consultant could come in and help you to create that training. So let's recap. There are 4 main domains of training that you can split all of your training components into. We have the mandated training or the onboarded training, which is your logistics, your introductory and core training, which is your grassroots skill building trainings. We have your advanced trainings, which is for your tenured staff and potential leadership opportunities for facilitation. And lastly, and most importantly for motivation, we have the customized domain, which is your external trainings, conferences, and real opportunities for growth and development to keep your staff motivated and engaged. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video on training today. Make sure you like and comment on the video with your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you'll be alerted whenever I release new content. If you're interested in working with me in a formal capacity as a consultant, my contact information will appear at the end of the video. Please reach on out. I do offer no obligation conversations for anyone interested in my services. Until next time, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.